Este moata nahaki. Anahatehana. Eleme atuna maka iti akonanaia. Ihomoa nahiti akanato. Istahana he nano omoene. Alana tanahe ke atonono omoekana. Awa anehete eheana atamoahe. There have been questions brought forward, and throughout the universe of the souls there have been prophecies, and it has been that those of the universe of the souls have been made to believe that prophecies are the providence of God, the creator of all things. This is not, from the way you understand it, to be true. There are two ways I could explain this, and we're going to start with what is my nature, and why when you come to me, the God, the source of all light, and ask for knowledge about the future, and I can give you an intention or something that I am actually doing at that, I will call it moment, and my plan that I have in place. But my nature is that I honor and respect and love the beauty and diversity of all that was of me and is now an individual. And because it is so vast and diverse and intertwined and moving and flowing, there is always change and movement. If I were to come in and manipulate and control it, then prophecies could, as seen from your perspective, occur. But I do not do that. I can tell you the season, but I cannot tell you the precision of what a moment holds, because ahead of time, even just before, because there's so much fluctuation and movement, it is not something that I would ever chosen. It's not in my nature. I would not choose to do that, because I love the beauty and diversity and flow and movement of all, and how watching it unfold. So a precise prophecy would not come from me. There are those who, within hierarchical societies, are you will call them, okay, you from the perspective of living within hierarchical would call them powerful, but to me they look very, very, they have very strong weak points. They have very weak points that they take the innocence, freshness, newness of younger souls, or those whom they can control their environment of, and convince them that they control these things, and that they have knowledge and understanding that others do not have. It is a contrivance on their part. And they contrive to control and manipulate souls' actions, reactions, and to create an outcome that they have chosen, so that the others will look at this and say, oh, look how wise they are. They knew what was going to happen, when in fact it was they that created it. That is where your prophecies have come from, or the concepts, the ideas of intricate prophecies have come from. There are season. I can say, oh, this is in this season this will occur. I will tell you, I can say this is the way this unfolds, but I will not say, okay, we're entering into spring. But just because you enter into spring does not mean you will have cold days or really hot days, and it will not be always inconsistent. And I can say you're entering into winter, or I can say you're entering into day or night, and I will understand those qualities as you enter into, and say, oh, when you enter into night, it will get darker, and it will get cooler than during the day. And I can say this on a galactic, universal, all of creation way. I can see and say that this system is entering into this season or this day or night. And I can say that as it enters into these seasons, it will experience these things. But it is not a precision or precise thing for the entire every moment of the day and how it will unfold, because that is not from me. I value and honor the diversity that exists within all of you and within divinity, to allow it its freedom of movement. And as it freely moves, then the divinity of all others freely move and adjust. That is the movement of the macrocosm of creation. So there cannot be a precise and prophecy. It is not because I lack in my understanding and grasp. It is because I value and respect the diversity and the creativity of all creation, that I allow its free flow. It is not in my nature. It has never been in my nature to come in and control and manipulate to get it to be at my end. Because if I have already envisioned the end of it, then how is that fun? I much rather see what will show up. That is my nature. So some have been asking of me, many have been asking of me, and you are referring many times to prophecies that have taken the understanding of the coming seasons and have said, when you see the buds on these trees, then this is what is going to occur, and then this will happen, and this will be the next step. There is a movement to the seasons that is known and is a flow of divinity that can be understood, but it is not a precision prophecy of what this individual will do and act, and this is how this individual will do and act. When you get into prophecies about individuals or nations or groups, there is some fluctuation of movement in the sense that you will see that these ones will get older and gain in knowledge and understanding, but as they do so, they are creative and different, and so it is always complex and cannot be calculated, because it should not be calculated, because that is not the nature of divinity. There are seasons moving and unfolding, and these seasons that would unfold were known and understood. And there are those that have, in order to gain the, I will call it, allegiance of others, offered details, but then they themselves or groups are working to orchestrate that which they had said would occur. It is not a sign of supremacy that they can do this. It is a very deep distortion on their part. If you have had prophecies that you have heard of and that clicked with you and you are drawn towards, release the details. Listen to the seasons. Okay? And beware of anyone that gives precise prophecies, because That is not me, and that is not of my nature. That is others that are masquerading as though they are me and the original source of all light and creation. They have their own powerful lights and have created and have therefore come in and said that they are in fact me, when they are not. And they have gathered up those and controlled them. This is breaking down. As my own divinity moves through all things, then all the, I will call it counterfeit divinities, become obvious and start to dismantle. This is different from what I am saying and expressing concerning my coming through in all creation. This was not planned. This was not set aside beforehand. This was out of necessity came about. It is understood that as I move through, certain things will occur because they cannot not occur. But the fine details are not known. And though we can say in many instances that certain individual souls or beings will more quickly and easily realign and move with their divinity, and others will have more difficulty, and others will have extreme difficulty. It is not let me tell you who exactly and what exactly will occur, because only until it has occurred will we know the exact from a linear standpoint. Now, from a non-linear standpoint, you'll say, well, if you live outside of time, then therefore you must know what is going to happen in the future. Oh, my dears, it is not a straight line. It is not a straight line. So that which is the future from one moment may be completely different from the future of another moment, next moment, because the movements everything is in movement and fluctuating and changing. And to grasp and understand that and see it in all the complexity of all that is creation, I do not do that. I experience, I'm connected, I know that, but I like to go with the flow. The time weaver is more, I would say, inclined to seeing the paths as they unfold and trying to inspire the best outcome. It is not manipulate the best outcome. It is inspire the best outcome. It is a different thing, a different thing. The time weaver can understand that as the things are moving and as they are flowing, and she can see the macrocosm of it and how it unfolds, and that is why she recognized what was occurring. But it is also not prophecy. The closest thing to prophecy would be her specialty, but it is not what you have been told is prophecy. I also can see and know much as the time weaver can, but it's more of, am I doing that right now? It is more like she will say to me, see and notice this fluctuation and see how this is moving, and shows me the past, present, and future and the movement of it, and I see it and feel it and know it and recognize it, and then there is an adjusting and a flowing and a moving, and usually it's just, this is wonderful, isn't this cool and interesting, I love how this had unfolded, this is the way that it normally goes, and he inspires. She the ability of her to find the inspiration of the reigniting of the individual divinity of each one is very special. It is, she can find and see the point that wants to come out but is not, and have it come forward, and you blossom forth in your fullest and grandest way. But it's very open-ended. It is not with precise intention. What I am doing this now by coming through all creation is not of, it is of course of my nature in the saving and the quality and the meeting with divinity and bringing about fairness in that sense. But I am more of a go with the flow guy. I am not, I'm going to come in and do guy. Even as I come in, there is still a lot of go with the flow. We are just reigniting and realigning you to your own divinity and your own explorative paths. And so I tell you, beware of prophecy. Now you may have from your own soul, from your others, you may hear of visions of the future or foreseeing, and that is fine. That is opportunities that are laying before you. But they are not usually set in stone. These are opportunities. The concept that is there of a life plan is not in line with divinity. You can have a life, let me see, I want to try in this direction. I want to try this season, but one that has a lot of precise, figured out, planned out things, that is not in line with divinity. Divinity should freely flow. It should freely move. It should adjust and be allowed that. To have a plan set in place as exactly what you want to do at this particular point or that particular point, that does not allow divinity to freely flow. It causes lots of clogging, lots of clogging, lots of restricted movement is not good. It is like an atrophying of parts of you. If you say, I want to work on this part of this muscle, say compare it to a body, and I'm going to work on these muscles. But when I work on these muscles, I will not be working on these other muscles. And if I do not allow these other muscles to move, those muscles may atrophy while these other muscles become stronger. And the end result is you become very unbalanced. Life plans are not in line with divinity. Go with the flow. These things are contracts, life plans. These things are, if there is I want to go into and experience a physical life, and I want to play with you people. I want to have experiences with you, and you agree to interact with each other and play with each other, that is fine. But when you go into the play, there should be an open-endedness to it. We're going to play. We're going to play on earth. We're going to play let us go and play and be whales swimming in the deep oceans. Oh, that is okay, but what you will do, what you will accomplish? No. That removes the divinity. It impedes it. It causes parts to atrophy. If you say, I would like it very much if at some point someone new would come in and begin playing with this, that is okay. But do not say, because I want to learn this thing. Because there you are impeding divinity. Trying to learn with the purpose of learning specific things is not in line with divinity. Let it flow, and divinity will teach you everything. If you try to distort it, you are atrophying parts of divinity. Just let it go. Free range learning. This is what you must do. Free range experiencing. Do not control. Do not put rules. Do not put limits. Do not put contracts. This is not in line with divinity. It is not in line with my nature. It is not in line with your own nature at your very core and essence of who you are. Release and let go the idea that there needs to be a specific laid out plan or specific things to be learned. You are not lacking because you do not learn this or you do not learn that. You will learn it in your own divine. You will learn your own divine way, your own path in line with the macrocosm of divinity. It cannot not be